Welcome everyone to this week's Radical Track Guide at the wonderful Suzuka circuit. This car and this track is quite a nice combination. Going up the hill in the S is absolutely brilliant in this car, but a lot of places to make mistakes. So I will try and point them out going around the lap. So let's get into the mumbo jumbo of it. Track usage, as always, 45%. Should probably change that to 44, considering that's my favourite number. So that's probably going to happen in the next few track guides. Cold track as well, 67 Fahrenheit. So we had plenty of grip out there on a nice cold track. Did take about 2 laps for the tyres to warm up. So just be mindful of that to lap 1, turn 1. And I'll put the degrees just above my head so you know what that is. The lap I'm going to show you is the very last lap I did. Is a 1:51.993. Now, I did actually crash on that lap, so I did get a new car. So we had 5-6 laps gone worth of fuel, so we still had about half a tank in there. But yeah, still a relatively good going. Low 52s, high 51s. My optimal was very close to that as well, so not much I could get more out of the car. Fingers crossed that's a competitive time. Otherwise, telemetry, OLAP, BLAP, and the replay file will all be in my Discord. A link will be down in the description. And my brake bias, which I always fail to mention on this one, I did actually turn it down for this one. Someone put a comment about me running a bit too high brake bias, which introduced a bit of understeer to the car. So I thought I'll give it a go. Felt lovely, to be honest. My brake bias was 54%. So give that a try, see what you think. And otherwise, let's get on with the guide. So then here we are at the beautiful Suzuka, and it's got a really decent start-finish straight, so just be careful of slipstreaming down here. Turn 1, 2 points here, just as a service road on the left-hand side. We start turning in, and then as we, a couple of car lengths before the curb, start standing on the brakes. Really smooth here. You see I'm like, what, 30% brake all the way down to third gear. Try and treat these corners as one big arc. Really benefits you on the exit here as well. Nice early throttle. Be careful of running wide. There is grass and an off track out there, so be warned. Now we are starting the famous S's. So big lift into the first one, and we nip down into third gear with a bit of brake. And there's not really any markers here. All you're doing is focusing on the last corner. So this one you want to stay nice and tight. You can see I'm just touching both pedals, keeping the car balanced. Keep far left as best you can, and then you want a nice late apex here. This one is the slowest one, so you will have to have some brake through it. Curb on the right hand side there, nice and late. And this one you want to try and get the maximum exit here. Really helps with your lap time. You want to be full throttle as early as you can without running too far wide. That curb on the right does appear very quickly, so be warned about that one. Coming down now, we do get into 6th gear, coming down to the turns 8 and 9. And these are beautiful little rascals. These are 50 marker. Stand on the brakes, down into 4th, miss the curb. Most other cars you can hit it, but in the Radical, not that happy. Brake about here, there's no other markers to go for. I do brake super early here because I want to get a good exit. So you see, build up the power. If you run wide onto that other green AstroTurf, it is an off track, so it's a bit of a pain in the rear. I'd rather sacrifice the entrance and get a good exit up to the hairpin. Speaking of the hairpin, it is arriving right now. End of the curb just here. We're gradually on the brakes as we turn and then stand on them. 2nd gear for this, nice and early. We want a nice smooth exit because we're on full throttle for a hell of a long time after this. You see the Radical pushes wide a little bit. I would have normally tried first, but I found it was just a bit too wheel spinny and you end up in the wall on the left hand side because you spun out. So 2nd gear is a bit safer. Full throttle now through the or continuous right hander, and basically trying to get ready for turn 13 of, I believe it's called Spoon. The service road here on the right hand side is a fantastic marker. Turn in and brake at the same point. You can see I'm very smooth on brakes. Down into 4th gear. As you come over to the barrier, a couple of car lengths before the end of it, really awkward to judge again. Brake down to 3rd, and again sacrifice the entrance for a much better exit. You can see building the power up there. I have a little bit of dip where I lift off, not very ideal, and avoid the off track on that curb. It seems you put one strand of paint on the other side of the curb there. It's an off track. Coming to 130R, fantastic corner. Going to be awkward going too wide. I'd imagine slipstream will help us through here. 50 board, we're turning in, and you can have a little bit of a confidence lift, but you can take it flat out. Be cautious on cold tyres, particularly the rear end, trying to overtake here. And now we are preparing for the last chicane. So we're looking for the 100 board on the left hand side, braking a couple of meters before it, probably about the 150, 140, something like that. Braking all the way down to 2nd gear. You can take a little bit of a cheeky curb there, but this one I try and minimize because the car gets very bouncy. So we want to build up the throttle because again we need a great exit here. Start finish straight comes up very quickly. and it's just under the sign there that says where we are, which is brilliant. So that is us across the line in a 151.993. So my goal for this was definitely get into the 51s, and I think that's a pretty decent time. I'm hoping it's going to be competitive. I haven't been too far off on these track guides, so I hope this guys help you out to improve your lap times around here. As I say, I really did enjoy it. Going through the S's through here in the Radical, absolutely brilliant. You'll probably will be affected by dirty air. It's quite a lot of downforce on this car, so following someone through the S's is probably going to introduce some understeer, so just bear that in mind as you're going around. Otherwise, it should be a fantastic week. As always, the OLAP, BLAP and replay files and telemetry should be all in my Discord. Come over and say hello. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.